Originally released back in 1989 as a board game and part of the Warhammer 40k franchise, Space Hulk became quite popular, releasing several different editions of the board game as well as spawning multiple video games, including Space Hulk Deathwing. Deathwing came out back in 2016 on PC, and now we have the enhanced version in 2018 that's now not only on PC, but also on PS4 and Xbox One. But does this enhanced edition end up hammering out all the flaws of the original, or will 40k fans be declaring war? Space Hulk Deathwing is a first-person perspective squad-based shooter that can be played both single and multiplayer up to 4 players, but only online multiplayer. The game's main campaign has you playing as a librarian, a member of the Dark Angel's first company of Space Marines. If you're familiar with 40k lore, you're gonna get the most out of this game, but it's not something that's necessary. You'll get tons of info thrown at you throughout the game, but as far as the core gameplay and understanding the contained story, it's all very much playable without having any prior knowledge. When it comes to the main campaign itself, it's a pretty average one as far as story and progression for the most part. What the game ends up getting the best, though, is the feeling and atmosphere of these very dark corridors. It has a very almost Aliens feel, and when you're dealing with these gene stealers, which are members of the Tyranid army, it's understandable why it feels like aliens. Most objectives that you're completing are pretty simple stuff, like get to a point and activate a computer or switch, and then get to another point and do the same, sometimes meeting a character or two, sometimes defending a point, and other times dealing with giant creatures or a massive amount of creatures coming your way. This provides some really intense moments for sure. If you're someone who enjoys the horde mode in a lot of modern shooters, you'll definitely enjoy that aspect of the gameplay. As you begin the game, you're given a basic tutorial, but there's a lot of stuff going on, so it's kind of overwhelming at first. Once you get into the first level, though, and start progressing through the game, things feel a lot better. It was almost kind of like system overload at the very start. Of course, it's a first-person shooter, but you also have melee attacks, special abilities, hacking of devices, as well as controlling your squad mates, making them go do certain tasks, deal with enemies, or even heal you. Because of this, pretty much every button does something different on the controller, a lot of times doing the opposite of what you're trying to do, so I consistently was pressing the wrong button in the heat of battle, but once I got my reflexes down, it felt a bit better. For me personally though, I felt that keyboard and mouse worked superior for this game overall when I played it back on PC a couple of years ago. The campaign though is decent enough. It borderlines good at times and never really falters as far as the overall level design and enemies, though a lot of levels will kind of feel the same at times. This is even mimicked in the fact that once you actually complete a mission, you can actually redo it in single or multiplayer and have randomized objectives on the maps. These objectives are pretty much more of the same that you already were doing on the map. This leads though to endless replayability, of course, for those who really dig that kind of random factor, but honestly, that's one of the best aspects about this version of the game. But the best part about the game overall, including the old version, was the customizable options, and there's new weapons, a new class, and the game really kind of gets the feel of being a Space Marine, more so I think than a lot of other Warhammer games I've played. But honestly, the thing that ends up bringing Space Hulk Deathwing down a bit is the technical issues. They are far, far less than the original version of this game. I'm sure they've been tweaking it and enhancing it since it originally came out, and over those couple of years I can see a huge difference in this game. With that said though, there were stutters, it crashed on me, there's little freezes here and there, and the load times, absolutely horrendous. I tested the game out both on my original launch model PS4 and on the Pro, and it had the same issues in both, in fact sometimes worse on the Pro. And speaking of the Pro, it didn't seem like the game was optimized for it with no real options in the options menu. I was also a bit disappointed at the fact that the game didn't have really any options to change up the controls. Really, you can only change up what the joysticks ended up doing. And yes, I do know you can change the buttons individually if you want on your system, but that's annoying, you have to change them back, and honestly I don't know why that's just not included here. Space Hulk is available now on the PS4 for $39.99, and it does feature a Platinum trophy. The game is also available on Xbox One and PC, and if you have the original version of Space Hulk, this is a free upgrade, so no reason if you own the game already not to download this and give the game another try. Overall, out of all the games based on Warhammer and 40k, not many of them get the real feel of the universe, and I feel like Deathwing at least got the feel of being a Space Marine. It has some great atmosphere too, so if you like the whole Aliens vibe thing, you're probably going to really dig the game even if you're not a fan of 40k already. It's obviously a no-brainer if you already own Deathwing just to download this patch and give it a try, but if you've never owned it before on PC or now getting it again on console, you may want to wait for the consoles to get patched a bit before picking it up or a sale, but it's still very much worth your time, especially if you're a 40k fan. With that said, I'm going to be giving the game an 8 out of 10. But anyway guys, I'm going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.